Hey guys, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I decided to go ahead and do a series on what makes this singer great, and it was definitely inspired by Rick Beato's What Makes This Song Great. Before we get started, if you please like and subscribe to my channel, that would be super awesome, and don't forget to ring that bell so I can keep more awesome videos coming your way. So with that said, I'm going to do a takedown of a bunch of different singers and what makes them great. Or another way to look at it is what first comes to mind when you think of this singer. So I decided to start with Ronnie James Dio, and I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is the size of his voice. It's huge. He's got this great big instrument, right? In fact, for such a short guy to have such a big instrument, that's kind of unusual. It's kind of like Pat Benatar. She was kind of short and had a big voice too, right? But there's multifaceted things, and I put together a couple of videos so we can kind of check out the videos along the way. Now, I have a singing course, and it's called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else, and I walk everybody through step by step all these different processes, from vibrato to support to range to all the different things that go into what makes a great singer. So I'm going to start with the big voice. Yes, absolutely. His kind of roaring lion sort of sound. So it's not just big, but he kind of roars at you, almost the whole time. His vocal range. He has an amazing vocal range. His harmonic distortion. Everybody loves his distorted sound, including myself. His amazing pitch was also absolutely fantastic. His ability to hold long notes. So he wasn't one of these kind of stabby singers. He was one of these guys that just held on to this big note. Now, he was quoted as saying that Mario Lanza was one of his biggest influences, which was an opera singer, though he claims he never took any vocal lessons, and that may or may not be true. It probably is. He did claim that playing the trumpet helped him tremendously with his breathing and the strength that was required to come up with this big roaring, big fat sound that he had. So anyway, he's also really well known for his vibrato, just that big wah kind of vibrato. Now, I did some vocal demonstrations myself and with my students of Dio, so I'm going to put those all in the description so you can see how we broke this all down and you can see how we did covering Dio. So I don't claim to be as awesome as Dio, but I think we got pretty close in some ways. So anyway, his intensity was absolutely off the charts. He was also maybe one of the most influential metal singers of all time. So these are the things that come to mind, or what I think makes Ronnie great. Anyway, his endurance, his stamina, and also his stage presence, in the night with the rainbows, whatever. He also had really killer players. He surrounded himself with especially great guitar players and drummers and whatnot. So I want to go ahead and play some of this stuff and make some comments along the way. So here's our first clip right here.
We're a ship without a storm, cold without the war, lying inside the darkness that it needs.
It's like the record, right? It's flawless.
We're a laugh without a tear, hope without the fear.
Here's the note.
We are coming.
Okay, now I do this exact note. In fact, when I did a vocal coach reaction to Ronnie James Dio, I did it live in the reaction. I'll go ahead and put that in the description, but I also do it with a medley I put together of Dio songs that includes this song here. I also did this with my student Gabriela Gunchikova, and then I also did Neon Nights myself, and then my other student, Sarah, also covered Neon Nights. So we have a few Dio pieces, but let's continue. This is incredible.
We're off to the witch. We may never come home. But the magic that we feel is worth a lifetime. We're all gone upon the cross. The throw before the toss. You can't release yourself. The only way is down. We'll know for the first time. Yeah. If we're evil alone tonight, we're the last in line.
Okay, so now I'm going to back this up just a tiny bit before we go to the next tune. He's also very dramatic. Last in line, we're off to the witch. We may never come home. He's got this really, theatrical approach. So he's very dramatic in the way, very almost melodramatic in the way he presents his vocals. So he's got a big sound, he's got stamina for days, he's got great vibrato, great distorted tone. And again, I cover all this in my singing course, how to get to these different places. So let's continue to hear Ron. Here we go. Just like the record, man, it's awesome.
Oh, this free, and I see that it's me who's lost and never found.
And his consistency is staggering. I've seen him so many times, and he was spot on every time.
That's the life. It was cold, lost my hold to the shadows of the night. All right.
Spot on pitch.
No sign of a morning charming. You've been left on your own, like a rainbow in the dark. Rainbow in the dark.
So, whoops. Sorry. Anyway, so here we have this giant roaring lion coming at us, and it reminds me of a funny story. I remember I moved to Costa Rica for a while, and my son was really young. I think he was like 14, and he had asked. We were living in an area called Santa Teresa. It was on the Guanacaste Peninsula, and around an area called Malpais. And he'd asked if he could hike to go visit a soccer buddy that he had met, and it was a good hike, and it was over the hill, from one side of the island to another, or to the area, to the peninsula to another. And he was being followed by what were called howler monkeys. And they're these little tiny monkeys, but they all sound like King Kong. They're these giant sounding, voices coming out of these tiny little monkeys. I'm not saying Ronnie's a monkey. I'm just saying it's kind of funny to see something so small with such a big sound. But his harmonic resonance and his harmonic distortion, his range, his endurance, his power, his tone, his pitch. I mean, it was the whole package, and his consistency night after night. And everybody I've known that's worked with him, and I've worked with a lot of guys, Doug Aldrich, who's played on my Wake the Nations album. I mean, I go down a list of a lot of guitar players I know that have played with him that I've worked with, and said that he was just spot on every single night, all the way into his passing, which is absolutely crazy. So anyway, guys, if you like what you heard, again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, I'm doing a whole series of these, so stick around because I've got some more videos coming your way. And if you have any other contributions or any other comments that you'd like to make about Ronnie and or any of the other singers I'm about to present, it'd be great to get your opinion on, the stage presence, like him, the command of his stage presence, his authority when he was on stage and whatnot. I welcome your thoughts and comments in the comment section. So anyway, let's stay tuned for the next video. Here we go.
We're the last in line.